Yo, 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 it's your host, Ebony. We're back with another episode.
It's your boy Tyler, and today we got a special episode, got a special guest on. You want to quickly introduce yourself?
What's going on, guys? I'm Xavier Cooks. I play for the Sydney Kings right now, and yeah, been around the block in the basketball world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's great to have you on. Appreciate you coming on. And yeah, of
Nah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
course, of course.
We are too. Getting started as we usually do this week in basketball. NBL season's back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How many games have you played so far?
We've only played the two so far, but we got one
Two.
coming up this weekend. Tomorrow, sorry, against Melbourne. It's going to be a tough one. They're a good team this year.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've seen Melbourne. I think they're undefeated this season so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're tough. They're tough.
Also, you got JaVale McGee. If anyone's been watching, he's been cooking, man. He's been
Little
cooking.
bra.
Yeah, he's been cooking. And we also had the first NBA and NBL crossover in Australia, so that was great to see. I think it was Pelicans versus Melbourne, maybe. I think.
Yeah, South.
Yeah, the two
East
Melbourne
Melbourne or
teams.
something like that.
Yeah, that was good to see. Great to get NBL more on the map, and it's a great league, so get people more in tuned into it.
For
But
sure. It was awesome to see just the NBA making the effort to come over here as well. I think that shows how far the NBL's come over the years, so they can come over here. And we have such a huge fan base for basketball now in Australia. It was pretty cool.
yeah, definitely was a good experience. But,
Oh,
oh, yeah,
I was gonna say, I don't know, just have a question regarding that. Did you feel like not jealous, I guess, but were you like, damn, I wanted to verse the Pelicans, or were you just like, nah, it's cool to see them come down?
No, jealous is the right word. I was
Yeah?
sitting at home so
Okay.
jealous. Just like, I play with Jordan Poole as well, and I was communicating with him during the while he was here, and just like, yeah, it would have been cool to play against him, and it would have came to Sydney, but hopefully next time.
Yeah, that would have been a good matchup, eh?
Yeah,
Wizards playing against
yeah.
each other.
yeah,
Nah, he's at the Pelicans now.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
old Wizards, yeah.
but
yeah.
yeah. Hopefully, in the future, we get more NBA, NBL crossovers, and yeah, get more teams involved. It's
Yeah, it'd
definitely
be cool to see.
definitely a good show. But as you guys know that have been watching the pod, we usually start off with a quiz, just a quick little fun trivia. Let's see. These ones are pretty straightforward. Sometimes we go a couple harder ones, but these ones should be all right.
Let me see what you got.
So for the first one, obviously, as you're a Sydney King, won some titles. I have how many championships have the Sydney Kings won in their history?
I'm gonna say five.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course, you got the double, and then there was a three-peat back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And then I have who's the all-time leading scorer in the NBL?
Oh man, probably Gazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Andrew Gaze. And then kind of mentioned it a little bit before, playing with Jordan Poole. So because you played for the Wizards for a little bit, I have who's the all-time leading scorer for the Wizards, Washington Wizards.
Oh, is it a hard one? Is it Wes Unseld?
Close. I think he played with him.
I don't know. Who is it?
Elvin Hayes.
Okay, I
Elvin
definitely would have
Hayes.
not have got that.
And then to finish off, I have what's the highest finish the Boomers have earned in Olympic basketball?
Oh, the bronze.
Of course, yes, sir. We got the bronze medal.
Yeah, the rose gold.
So that was pretty good. That was pretty good. And now I want to do the basketball culture.
That jersey.
Oh, jersey. Yeah, true. I forgot about that.
Do you have a jersey or something sentimental or like an art basketball item or something you can show us, show
I
and
do.
tell?
I don't have a jersey, but I got something pretty cool. I've got my a Kubra. This is what you get
Ooh.
when you make the senior Boomers team. If you ever go to a World Cup or an Olympics, they give you an Akubra, and they've gone back and found like the very first Boomer from 19 whenever, and they figured out who was the first, and they've numbered them off. And I'm the 141st Boomer. And then for
Yeah.
like every
Wow.
like major championship you go to, you get like an opal on the side. So like people like Patty would have like eight opals, I'm sure, for the World Cup and all the Boomers. And I just think it's a really cool thing, and really cool about the history of the Boomers, and it kind of talks about the culture and the family of the Boomers and how it's one big pack, and it's pretty cool. Even the presentation for that, it's kind of like it started off as like the boys' night. We came in and just like came and did a little show and tell, and everyone had to do like an icebreaker. All the new players had to do anything you want. I did like a rap one time. Someone did like a Rubik's cube. Do whatever you wanted to do. And at the very end of the night, they gave you your Kubra and your jersey, and you take your photos. It was a really cool thing. And now it's more of a presentation night where they invite past players and the Opals come in. It's really cool.
Yes, definitely, and a cool little item, especially get you cemented into Australian history. So yeah, it's crazy
it's
to
pretty
see.
cool.
Do you still remember the rap?
I do, but I'm not going to say it. It's more of like a diss rap. I was like just going around the room, just hating on people, just rapping about them. It was my
Fair
one
enough.
chance to roast people.
Fair enough.
I like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you know, the podcast is called Basketball Culture. So I just want to see, how would you define basketball culture?
I mean, that's a tough question when you think about like all the aspects of the basketball culture. When you think about even fashion or music, and I think that kind of stems from the hip hop culture and kind of street ball lifestyle, how basketball really kind of became popular. I think especially players like Allen Iverson, their effect on the game and kind of things like that. I mean, this is just my perspective. And then the team camaraderie of culture, I think that's the thing that when you talk to past players, like what they miss the most. It's not necessarily about what they've accomplished or anything like that. It's about like that locker room, those going to die for your boy next to you and that kind of stuff. And that's just like, I mean, the joy you kind of get from winning a championship and people's faces on your team and the crowd and things like that. That's kind of like the biggest feeling you kind of get in basketball. And I think that just all stems into the basketball culture.
Yeah, love that answer.
Yeah, definitely a great answer, especially for those that know to win at the highest level, you really got to be that brotherhood, like you mentioned. You got to, put your body on the line for the team and everyone together. So it's definitely good to hear that from a pro themselves.
Oh, you can definitely tell like the good teams from the bad teams, usually by their culture and their body language and things like that. Just like the best teams are so connected on and off the court. They genuinely spend time together and they enjoy each other's company. And there's some teams that are just, I don't want to say there to get a paycheck, but they're there to just to hoop and it's a job more. And like there's a big difference in how far they go on the court as well.
Yeah, we get you.
100%. Moving on to our questions now. Shall I start?
Yep.
Childhood. What was your childhood like? What was your upbringing like? Where did you start with basketball? All that.
Yeah, I had a great childhood. I grew up, I was born in Ballarat, but I moved to Wollongong when I was real early. My dad's American. He played professional basketball. That's why he came to Australia. And so I kind of grew up in a big basketball household. My dad was with the Illawarra Hawks, he was the assistant coach for years. He was the manager. He was the head coach for a while. He was just around the club for like 20 years. My brother played professionally at the club for a couple of years as well. So I was always just around basketball, always that little kid coming to the Hawks practices at like 5 years old and just kind of being around basketball so much grew my love for it. And it kind of had a huge advantage going forward, just, watching my dad cut up film or watching breakdowns of different things at practice. And it really helped me go further, I guess you would say. But I mean, I had a really nice childhood, pretty normal kid. I wasn't extremely tall until probably 17 or 18. I think I grew from like 6 foot to 6'7". And that kind of had its benefits as well in terms of as I grew up as a guard, working on my ball handling and things like that. And then I grew to 6'8", and it kind of helps out. I mean, I was a really skinny, little limpy, uncoordinated thing at first, but like I kind of figured it out after a while.
Yeah. So were you like, since your dad and your family was like basketball pretty much, were you just thrown as soon as you were born, just thrown straight onto the court? Or was it like a gradual, as you got older thing you were there?
It was kind of a gradual thing. My parents did a good job of like, even if I played basketball, I wasn't really allowed to play like high level basketball until I was under 14s. Like I could just play with my friends or play like local comps or things like that. But I didn't start playing reps until under 14s. I played baseball. I did everything. I played football, played soccer for a bit, just explored my sporting world, I guess you would say. And then I just found my love for basketball. I played footy. I got absolutely pumped and I was like, that is it. I'm going to basketball, indoor sports.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine since you said you were pretty skinny playing footy, that would be rough.
Yeah, it didn't work out well for me.
I feel like it's definitely good, but like some people, I feel like you see with MJ's sons and stuff like that, when they grow up with a dad that's played and stuff, and they feel like they have to play basketball, they don't really have the love for it, but seeing naturally how you grew from it and stuff like that, I feel like it's always better.
No, for sure. My parents did such a great job in terms of they had seen so many kids come and kind of burn out from basketball by the time they hit under 18s. They just fall out of love with basketball. And you really have to love it to get to this far. You have to, you know what I mean, miss out on so much in your life and grind so hard. And you have to have that passion for it. And you kind of don't want you like I said, you don't want to start too early and burn out.
Yep, of course, of course. I kind of just want to know. Obviously, you said you started, like playing more competitively in under 14s. When was it that you first realized you had the potential to possibly make it a career and not just like a dream or just for fun?
Oh, that's a tough question. I mean, some days you still have your doubts whether you're still going to make it very far. But I mean, probably I was at NSWIS, New South Wales Institute of Sport, when I was probably 16 or 17. And even then, I was pretty really raw at the time. And I was so fortunate to get an invite to go down to the AIS. So I was down there for like 9 months. And probably down there, even when I first got there, I never had been invited to any Australian programs, any tryouts for Oz teams, and all these guys were ranked in the country or been to 17s worlds, 19s worlds, and all these things. These were the big dogs, and I had never even heard of them. Pretty much, I'd never even been
Mm,
at that level. So at first, I was really raw, and self doubt really crept in. And then I think after a while, you kind of figure out like, man, I can hang with these guys, and these are the best of Australia. So like, what can I do? So then you kind of grow your confidence into making it to college, and then I think in college, even at first, you're you're not used to competing against those kind of athletes. We don't really have that kind of exposure in Australia. So even at first, I kind of struggled with dealing with the athleticism and probably a lot of more just overthinking it in my head. And then I think I took a big jump my sophomore year, and from there I'm like, man, maybe I can do this and make it professionally. And then kind of just from there, there's little cycles in life, and you kind of think you can do these things, and sometimes they happen, sometimes they don't.
Mm.
of course, of course. And touching back onto the college, how did it feel like to kind of earn the right to go play college over there? And what was the sacrifice like? Obviously, having it's a big sacrifice moving away and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was really under recruited, under the radar for most of my juniors. So I was even when I first got my first offers, I was just over the moon. My first actually the offer I got was Winthrop, the school I ended up going to. I started playing really well at in the Institute of Sport, sorry. And I got some bigger schools. I think Iowa offered me some bigger schools, and they really messed me over and took away the offer at the last second, and it kind of messed with my head. So I just thought the best option is to go to Winthrop. They've been loyal to me from the start, and it was the best decision I ever made. Like I absolutely loved it there. Obviously, it sucks moving away from your friends and your family and all your loved ones and being on the opposite side of the world. But I mean, you kind of make this choice to play basketball at a young age, and you are committed to it. You know, what I mean, you want to do whatever you want to take to get to that, chase that dream, I guess.
Mm. How did you like handle that mentally, that big change, like leaving your family and going over? Like, was there anyone who helped you, or was it a self thing that you dealt with yourself?
I mean, it was really tough. Like you kind of think about it. Like my brother went to college when I would have been what 14 or something like that, maybe even younger. I was probably like 12 when he went to college. And I remember when he left, I was heartbroken. Like I was just like distraught. So then from then on, I was like in the back of my head, I had to think like, I'm leaving one day. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to go through that. So you kind of prepare yourself for that. But then when you get over there, like when I first went over there, my mum came with me to help I'd never met anybody just to go through that ice breaking phase and help me get set up and, buy stuff for the dorm and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when I'm over there, I'm half American, so I've got family over there as well, which is always nice to go to for like Christmas and things like that. Or if you're homesick, to go down there. They'll probably maybe 6 or 7 hours drive down in DC, up in the DC, sorry. But even just calling my mum all the time, but it's still you're on the other side of the world. The time difference is still just tough, and especially when you're exhausted from preseason your first year, you're not used to the workload, going to study hall. You're kind of over just people. You've got someone in your room the whole time. I'm not used to having a roommate again. Just like my social bar energy was just flat the whole time, and I just started missing home. But you kind of adjust to it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, thick skin, eh? You gotta grow it.
Hmm.
You don't have it
Yeah,
already. I
yeah.
I can definitely relate to the your brother leaving. I think Jordan, our brother, he left.
Yeah.
I don't remember how old I was. Maybe well, he would have left when he was like 17. So I was probably, yeah, like 11, 12. And when he told me he's leaving, I'm like, what do you mean? You can't leave me.
Yeah,
And
it's
I was
heartbreaking.
heartbroken, like you said. And for so long, I thought that was like kind of weird to be
Mhm.
upset about. Like your brother's going to college, he's doing big things.
Yeah.
But hearing you say that, I'm like, I feel better now.
Oh no,
I'm not
I was a
alone.
full crybaby. I'm not even gonna lie. I remember taking him to the airport. I remember that exact day taking him to the airport and saying bye. I was like a little 4-year-old kid crying. I was like, what am I doing with my life?
Same. Oh my gosh.
But I know you kind of touched base on the athleticism, how it's like a huge upgrade over there. I kind of want to know kind of the rest, what stands out the most from like the college experience and how the basketball over there differs from the Australian way.
Oh, I mean, these days basketball in college is, I mean, it generates more money than most professional leagues around the world. They've got so much resources and it's out of this world. They're getting millions of dollars through NIL. Um, but in terms of like on the court, I mean, like when you go over there, you really are like become like a family, I guess you would say, because you don't have your family there. You really rely on each other through the good days and the bad days, and your coaches really become almost your parents. And like they teach you more than just on the court. They teach you. They taught me through my faith. They taught me through like eating things. They taught me through study hall things that approach life, financial things. Like they have come a long way, and that's just the really you really ride or die for you. It's such a cool community over there. But the outside noise is it's pretty crazy around like in terms of it's a national program. It's March Madness generates so much money. It's probably got
Yeah.
more attention than the NBA Finals some years. It's pretty
Yeah.
crazy that college basketball has come so far.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like when I watch on TV, you see the crowds like they're really
Uh,
into it. Like you said, man, like it's definitely crazy.
I mean, even when you like, if you watch NBA games, the crowd, they're sitting down, they might be clapping. If you watch
Oh,
college games, they are lit. You know what I mean? Like, there's no one sitting down. The energy's great. Like, it's a real rivalry in there. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah, especially they dressing up and everything, got the face paint, full body. It's
Man,
like, damn, they're
it's
dedicated.
crazy. Yeah, they're
You
committed to it.
you gotta respect it. You gotta respect it.
The
And
crazy
then
thing is, sometimes you look in the crowd and it'll be like an 80-year-old lady with the face paint. You're
yeah.
like, really?
No way.
it's crazy. It definitely is crazy. And
Yeah.
kind of how did your time in the US influence your personal kind of game style? Like did you feel like you had to change kind of the role you were in or maybe the way you played or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think before when I first went to college, I was just athletic. In Australia, I was athletic. I was really raw. And then I got to college and I was semi-athletic, but like I wasn't the most athletic guy anymore. I couldn't just jump over people. And that's kind of really figured out that, well, I just American basketball is really different in terms of like X's and O's. It's a lot more isolation based. Like Australia does a really good job of learning the fundamentals and learning the skill set. And that's where I kind of learned that my benefit was through my versatility and my like IQ through the game. Like I'm pretty tall and I have a good handle. I understand the game. So just figuring out what my advantages were, which I've kind of taken with me through my career. I mean, you kind of figure that out through college.
Yeah, it's nice to hear. Nice to hear. Especially, I feel like that is true because whenever you see like Australian players in the NBA, the first thing the commentators always say, "Oh, they know how to play the team basketball. The IQ is really different to America. Like America, like you
Yeah.
said, a lot of isolation and stuff like that. So it's cool to kind of get both experiences, and obviously that will lift your game.
I mean, even watching the NBA now, it's cool to see like the likes of Luca and Jokic. These kind of back in the day, it was all the Russell Westbrooks, the super athletic. They just get downhill. Whereas like Luca is slow and methodical, and even watching him at EuroBasket, these kind of players are just so smart. They can influence the game in so many ways that it's cool to see the change in basketball.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. You got the evolution, especially Jokic, like you said. If one was to just look at him, like without knowing who he is, they'll be like, this guy can't play, this guy's nothing. Then you see the
Exactly.
passes he's making, the shots
Oh,
he's making. It's like
he's
without having the
incredible.
athleticism, it is pretty crazy. Like to be
hmm
that skilled and be able to
But,
dominate the game, it's
but
definitely cool to see.
even when we played them when I was in Washington, and it's crazy. He doesn't have a sprint. He's just jogging around the
Yeah.
court like he barely even jumps. He's just a really good boxer outer and just like holds his ground and like it's really incredible how he makes basketball look so easy while there's these super athletes around him trying their ass off and they look stupid. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, especially with that like kind of ongoing joke that he doesn't really even care. Like he just wants to get to his horses.
Yeah,
Like obviously he cares if he's a professional, but you know what I mean? To have that kind of
yeah.
that nonchalant attitude on the court and just dominate, it is pretty crazy.
Hmm.
And it's definitely cool, like seeing how much like basketball has evolved, like you said, like seeing all different types of players and stuff like that, instead of seeing the same type of player
Hmm.
everywhere.
It's awesome. Yeah, the basketball game's really changed.
Yep. And then now I just want to kind of touch base. I believe your first pro contract was in Germany. Kind of want to see what was that experience like compared to college and even just the environment itself outside of basketball.
Yeah, it was a big change. Like I said, college is like you're a big family. Your coaches are your support system. You have people helping you out if you need groceries and things like that. Then you hit the college, the professional world, and you're on your own. You know what I mean? You don't have people got their own families, people got their own things going on. You come home from practice, and it's just you in your apartment. And so at first, that adjustment. It was snowing over in Germany. I mean, they speak a lot of English sometimes, but like I don't speak any German. Like I was just like there's a lot of video games at first, besides outside of practice. But even like on the court, they're bigger. They're bigger on tour days. Like you come in the morning and either do your shooting and do your weights, then come back in the afternoon and do live, which is a really taxing on your body. But their style of basketball is a lot more methodical than college. It's slower pace. It's really pick and roll orientated and break you down that way, which is really cool and really fun to see. It's more of a game of chess over there, which is really fun. But at first, I kind of struggled. I was playing the three position over there, the shooting forward, small forward, sorry. And then we had a guy called Perry Ellis at the team on the time, sorry, and he was playing the four. And then we eventually switched positions. I played the four, he played the three, and I really excelled and kind of figured out that I'm probably better as a small ball four than a bigger three, just with my athleticism and things like that. And that's kind of how I moved to the four spot. But it was a really cool experience.
And what were some of the biggest lessons you kind of took away from playing overseas early on in your career?
You kind of learn the professional world, like you being independent. Like in college, you have a schedule, you fix your schedule. That's what you got to do. In professional world, if you want to come get shots in because you're going to help your game, you come get shots in. But then no one's going to make you do anything. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you're not performing, you're going to get cut. So you have to take responsibility for yourself. And even if you get diet, things like that, it kind of help you grow as a person and grow on the court.
Mm. And what was like the culture? I know you pretty much spoke on it a bit already, going from college to like this big family to then to Germany to like being on your own a lot. But how was that like culture shift like within the team, like on the court?
Um, it's also different in terms of like in college you're there for 4 years no matter what. You're fighting for your position, but you're going to be there for 4 years. In professional, like I
Yeah.
said, you're going to get fired. So it's kind of like if things aren't going good on the team, people start playing for their numbers or start getting not cheering as much on the bench and things like that. Those kind of things come in. So at first we were really struggling, but then we figured it out, and then everyone's self belief comes in, and it was a lot of fun. And as the year goes on, we had a lot of fun and really got to know each other and spent more time with each other. But the initial I don't know, 3 months was rough. I ended up flying my mum over. My mum and my brother ended up flying over for Christmas to help me just not be alone, I guess. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
cool.
And seeing as like how you talked about like your job's basically on the line every day, was there any moment kind of during the season where you felt you had to prove yourself, and how were you able to?
Um, I think at first, like I said, we started off the year slow, and like in my head, I hadn't really even processed the thought that like at college, I never been on. Like, we didn't really lose. We were on a winning program pretty much, and then I went over there and like we started off pretty slow. One of my boys are like, "Man, we got to pick it up, or one of us are going home, if not all of us are going home." And then it really kind of hit me hard. I was like, "Man, I really could be going home. I've been solid, but I'm not solid enough to keep." You know what I mean? And then I really switched to the four, and I really excelled in that role. And from then on, I mean, I was confident in my role on that team. It's always in the back of your mind, but I was still pretty confident in my role.
Mm. And like on the mental side of things, because like my thing is always big on like mental health and all that kind of stuff. So you said it like it was hard going there and then that first 3 months. So how did you like overcome that? Was it just something that over time it just got better and then you overcame it? Was there anything you did yourself to like help yourself get through that time?
Yeah, I at the time I was really struggling on the court. It's a really crazy story. When I first went over there, I ended up having a seizure. I collapsed on the ground, had a seizure, and
Wow.
so I couldn't play. I missed a lot of preseason, and I came back. And you always just feel when you're coming back underdone. You know what I mean? Your skills aren't up to touch, and you always feel like that. So I really struggled on the court. Just felt like I wasn't. Self-doubt was creeping in. All these things, my everything just wasn't really working for me. I ended up they hired me a sports psychologist, and that really helped a lot. Just talking, dealing with, professional life, dealing with being alone, dealing with anxiety on the court, the pressure of things, playing bad, things like that. And it was really, really helpful. And that's like, there's a lot of things that kind of help you progress past it. I think over time you kind of adapt to things, and like it's always the initial shock. Like always, when you first get there, you don't really know anyone, and I'm a loud person if you know me, but I don't really go up and say hi to people like that. I'm not really
Yeah.
like that kind of person. So at first it's just so much isolation, which is kind of not used to, but you make friends, you kind of get a routine going, you kind of figure out what cafes you're going to figure out you're going to go to. And like, it figured out to be pretty cool. And then you kind of, once you get comfortable, you start exploring the country. And that was the coolest part about playing over there. Like, going around. They had the Autobahn over there, so I'm just speeding around on the highways, going all around Germany, and like you'd play one week you might play in France, or one week you might go play in Turkey, or I was going to these countries I'd never even heard of. I went to like Kosovo and things like that to go play a game, and it was just a really cool experience to be able to see the world through basketball.
Yeah, that's something I love about basketball is like it can really just take you anywhere in the world and you can like experience so much life and experiences and wonder in the world just from playing like a sport. Like it's crazy to see
It's
and
awesome. It's
hear your
all.
story as well. It's really cool.
Mm.
Yeah, I definitely think the mental aspect as well, it's definitely underlooked. Like you said, you go through ups and downs in any career, but especially like I feel like if you're an athlete, couple shots you're missing, you have a couple bad games. And I feel like that's what sets kind of the greats apart from like the people that kind of fall off is how you bounce back, how you're able to next shot mentality. So to hear you talk about it, it's definitely good to hear.
Mm.
But then also now kind of want to see talk about the Kings, Sydney Kings. You joined the Kings in 2019. So kind of what drew you to the NBL and the Sydney Kings especially?
Yeah, at the time I had actually I'm gonna get a phone charger. One second.
All
Sorry.
good, all good.
At,
No
at
worries.
the time I had actually signed in France. I came back to Australia and I went to a Boomers program over in Perth. Actually, it was in Melbourne, sorry. And I was in a long shot to make that program. I was just finished my first pro year overseas. I was like, I got invited. It was the biggest honor. I ended up playing pretty well and making the team. But I ended up getting injured at the first practice and had to pull out of the World Cup. That
Damn.
was heartbreaking, really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But from then, French contract was like, after I obviously recovered for the whatever 3 months, whatever it was, French contracts like, we want you to fly over here and we want to do our own medical screenings. And if we like you, we're going to keep you. If not, we're going to send you home. And I wasn't about to do all that. Like I just said, like, you can sign the paperwork or not. And they just said, no. So I, was just like figuring out what I'm going to do. I ended up coming and watching a game in Sydney because LaMelo Ball at the time was playing, and they were playing
Hey.
in Spain. It was a sellout, and sorry,
All
It's all
and
good,
good.
all good.
and just coming to the game and just watching how far the NBL had come, just from my juniors, from watching my dad to now, and seeing how much it's progressed. I was like, I really want to be a part of this league. And the GM, and who now the GM still, Chris Pongrass, made me an offer, and I was excited to come here.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to see. And kind of want to talk about your own personal improvement and stuff like that. Over the years, you just got better and better. But when you first started, did you ever imagine you'd become two-time champion, MVP, finals MVP? I know everyone's meant to have the confidence they will, but was that kind of something you'd planned on? Or
No. I mean, like, Philando, I mean, it's kind of like one of those things. You first come to the league, and I struggled at first, and you figure it out, and that belief comes in. You're like, man, I can really do this. And then you're like, have a good couple months, and you're like, man, what's stopping me from being the best? You know what I mean? Like, and then even the championships. my first year when we first came here, we made the finals and we played Perth in the finals. And we had to pull out because that was a COVID year. We didn't pull out. We were down 2-1. We were down 2-1 and we gave them the championship. And so I kind of had a taste of going how far you could go and how cool it could be to go that far. And then we fell off for a little bit. And then the year after, we won the championships. And it was just I don't know, the coolest experience of it. Yeah, it was such a cool feeling.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I can't even imagine like, yeah, winning the championship like that. Like just crazy. And like I was just thinking like after you win the championship, like kind of piggybacking off his question of like once you've won like all these stuff like MVPs and all that, is there a point in your mind where you're like, yeah, I'm that guy, or is it still like you're still climbing like higher, 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 and like still in the same headspace, I guess.
I mean, like some days you might have a good practice, you'd be like, I'm that guy. And then some days you might have a terrible practice, you're like, man, I'm ass. Like it's just the way of the game. And like, it's not like I'm sitting here every day thinking about the things that you've accomplished. It's always about the data now and
Mm,
the latest game and how you've practiced throughout the week and how you're going to try to have a good performance tomorrow and things like that. But you're not, I mean, like I said, some days you might have that self belief, some days you don't.
yeah, fair enough. And like also to that, like winning a championship and then restarting the season, like how does that work for your mental? How do you guys like push through that to like not come off like a high, I guess, and be like, oh yeah, like we're gonna win it again. Like obviously you can have that confidence, but like how do you like reset your mind to like this is a new season, we gotta strive for this again without like getting too like overhyped or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like sometimes that self confidence can help because, like, in our first championship, we were down a lot of games in the fourth quarter, and we were just like, man, we got this. Like, when we play our best, no one can mess with us. But when you start that next year, we had a completely new bunch of guys. Like, we had three new imports. We had like a damn near a whole new starting lineup. So it was a whole new thing. But we were off to such a good start because we knew what it take to get there. We knew the day-to-day habits that have proven successful. We knew that our formula and our plays and our defensive schemes are successful if they're applied properly. So like some teams you come in and you have like, I don't know if this is going to work. You got to try to figure out how it's going to be adjusted. And like when you're coming off that championship, you have that as a benefit. But like mentally, you got to know it's a full new year. And the things that made you great is the hard things, the day-to-day practices, the grind, the things that like great teams have, spending time with each other, like I said earlier, building those connections, all those things kind of tie into it. And you kind of have that recipe for success.
Mm, love that answer.
And then after winning the championship and the finals MVP the following year, how were you able to handle the pressure of kind of like teams are targeting you guys? Obviously, you guys are the champions. I feel like when you're an underdog, it's a bit easier because there's no expectations. You just come in. If you win, you win. But when you're the champion, everyone's kind of gunning for your spot. So how were you able to handle the pressure of all that in the following season?
Oh man, we loved it. We absolutely loved it. Just like knowing you're going to get everyone's best punch and they're going to try and, like everyone's coming for you. Everyone's gunning for the top dog every time. And we ended up winning the minor premiership that year. Like I had a really good team. But I think that's just the competitive fire that we had. You know what I mean? We love the competitive. We like in basketball games, you don't really want pushover games. And sometimes you can have those in like some like when you play a lot of games and people have a T or double headers, you might get a pushover game where you beat them by 20. We don't really want that. We want these competitive. We want your best. We know we could take it, and we just really thrived in that environment. Like our motto for that team was the road dogs. Because we know that we could go into any environment and we would like I said, they're going to have sellout crowds. They're going to absolutely boo us. They're going to give us their best, and we can just take it because we're the road dogs.
Yeah, it's definitely good to see. And seeing as you guys championship to championship, what do you believe kind of makes a winning culture within a team? I know you said obviously everyone buying in and stuff like that, but is there anything else that kind of stands out into a winning culture?
I mean, a lot, like on and off the court. Like I said, building those connections off the court, making sure people can have good communication with each other, making sure they communicate on the court, being able to have heart-to-heart conversations with people. Like basketball's not always going to be pretty. You got to have each other. When people are taking a bad shot, you can't just be like, oh, and and not call them out. You got to be able to tell them sometimes, and sometimes they don't want to hear that. And when you're in the heat of battle, it can turn to an argument. But I know you got to come from a good heart, and good teams know that. Some teams find it really personal. You got to really believe in your schemes and have no self doubt that you can do this. Like it's two really talented teams usually that come down to a championship, and both teams are, you know, really tight on their execution, but it really just comes to the competitive fire and like who believes it, who wants it more.
Definitely good to hear from a champion. And after your MVP season, I know we kind of touched on it before, with the NBA coming to here, you actually got a call up to the Washington Wizards. So how did that feel? I know majority of basketball players from young probably dreamed of making the NBA. So how did it feel to be recognized and get that accomplishment?
It was I still remember that call. It was the craziest day ever. Throughout the years you might hear, what have I done? I apologize.
It's all good.
That's
Um,
so good.
over the years, you kind of hear talks from your agent about maybe this is coming out, maybe a 10-day, maybe these kind of things, and like they always fell through. So eventually, you're just like, bro, I don't want to hear anything until it's like set in stone. And I think after the semi-finals in the second championship year, we played Cairns game one. We actually lost the game, and game two. Sorry, we lost the game, and I rolled my ankle, and I was in a bad mental space. And my agent called me, and he's like, "Yeah, I've got an offer." And I'm like, "Don't come at me with no BS again, bro. I'm not trying to hear that right now." And then I being the offer from the Wizards, which was a really cool offer, and I mean, like that's one way to like change your mood instantly. And I just remember the joy and calling my parents and that kind of thing. And then you still got to focus back in on the season from there. You know what I mean? You still got a task to do. I'm not like I'm going to pack up and leave my boys and be like, I made it. Sorry, boys. But like, nah, you got to grind it out. And it was I ended up getting a really bad cork in the final. It was a really tough series. It came down to a game five. It was probably, it was just a really cool series. I ended up winning. And then to go from there to having a real quick celebration that night and getting on a plane at, I don't know, 9 in the morning to pack up all your bags and leave in the morning was a really crazy whirlwind of, I don't know, I was just in all kind of mental states. And then I think within like one day of getting over there, you do your medical screenings, and they had a game that night, and they're like, "Oh, you're not going to suit up." And then the next thing you know, like, "Oh, we're going to suit you up, but we're not going to call you on the court. You're all good." And then they get blown out, and then you get called into the court, and you're like, "I'm tired. I'm jet lagged. I don't know anybody here." Like, but it was such a really cool, experience.
Yeah, and I know we kind of touched on it with the college, but what stood out most about the NBA compared to obviously NBL and the other professional leagues?
Oh, firstly, the size. Like these dudes are huge. Like, even they would probably consider Daniel Gafford, who was one of the five men of the team, an undersized big, and he's 6'9" and like the most athletic guy I've ever seen in my life. Like it's crazy. They had Porzingis on the team, who's 7 foot, whatever he is. He's massive. Like so I remember just walking in, and usually in Australia, a four-man can be, 6'8", between like 6'8" and maybe 6'10", or even undersized, it could be 6'6" to 6'10", really in Australia. Over there, the smallest guys was my size, and they go up to, they might have some footers in the four position. You had Kuzma at 6'10" at the three, like the size, the athleticism was a huge difference. And then even just like they're extremely good one-on-one players. Like they really excel in the one-on-one game. Like in Australia, there's kind of certain shots you kind of want to give up. You can't take away everything on the basketball court, but you live with a contested mid-range or a step back three or a tough thing. You don't want to give up layups or kick out threes. These guys have mastered the step back threes. You know what I mean? Like the kind of shots you want them to take, they're going to happily take them and make them. So you kind of got to figure out what next. You know what I mean? Like, where do I send them now? Because like one-on-one's tough, especially there's no defensive 3 seconds over there. I mean, there's a defensive 3 seconds over there. So there's no split line. Like, that if you do get beat, the help line's coming from so far away. Like you can't just like, it's kind of adjustments like that are really the major thing. But I mean, off the court as well, it's a real spectacle. Like the travel, the resources, the facilities, like the treatment, the amount of coaching staff and things like that is really incredible. But I think this is the coolest part is just playing against the best players in the world and just competing against those kind of guys, and it was really cool.
Yep, and hearing about the best players in the world, who is like the toughest matchup you've had, whether that be in a game or maybe even training? I know you talk about Jordan Poole. Everyone knows he's tough guard.
Yeah, I mean Jordan Poole's tough because Jordan Poole's gonna, get you dancing and have you looking stupid. But like I think we played against Milwaukee and they had Giannis and there's just no
Yeah.
there's no answer. Like especially because like my game style is a poor man's Giannis, some people could say. You know what I mean? Like I be getting downhill. I try to use my athletic traits. He is bigger, stronger, faster. Like there's nothing you can really do. And like just seeing how effective he is with the game and even how well he reads the game and like he knows that there's no one-on-one coverage that can guard him. So they're going to be huge crowds around him. They're going to send double team and he gets through the rim. And they've got like guys like Brook Lopez at the 5 or Chris Middleton, all these absolutely snipers around him. So that's kind of just, it was an impossible matchup for our team.
And then also, being as you just won the MVP, the championship, you're kind of the guy in NBL, and then coming over to NBA, probably going to get a lesser opportunity. How are you able to handle that kind of moving into a lesser role, kind of a bench guy, energy guy?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I think probably one of my biggest strengths is my versatility. Like I can come in and play the star player at the 4. I can come play a backup 5. I can even play a little bit of point guard, or I can be the cheerleader. Like I'll do whatever's going to pay my bills. Like,
Yeah.
but I think coming into it, you kind of know you're not going to be the star. You're going to be a hustle player. You're going to be extra possessions, defense, the dirty work. But that's what we kind of take pride in as Australians and the Boomers. Like, look at our guys in the NBA, in Paddy, in Delhi, these kind of guys that are tough nosed, that are grinders, that are do the dirty work that these superstars don't want to do. And I mean, look at even Delhi's his story. He's been one of the hardest workers on the court for years, and look how far it's taken him to an NBA championship, to things like that. Like it shows you how far working hard can get you.
Yeah, I really love that mindset. Like you see some players, or I mean, maybe we don't really know, but some people being ungrateful and stuff like that. Like, I don't know if I should mention this, but that guy that got, what team did he get drafted on? Do you remember?
Oh, Ace
Oh,
Bailey. Yeah, Ace Bailey didn't want to go
yeah,
to Jazz.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like, bro, you got the NBA. What do you
yeah.
mean? Like,
He
oh,
just
how many
sounds
people would
stupid,
kill for
man.
that? Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
I
Like,
mean,
so,
that's the tough part about like social media these days. Like
yeah.
this kid's been getting gassed up since he was, I mean, this dude's probably got a Maybach with, all kind of jewelry. Like this guy, it comes with a big ego. And it kind of, like I said, it kind of helps you on the court sometimes too. Those kind of guys can have a bad game and bounce back well because they know that they're him at all times, they might think.
Mm,
But at the same time, sometimes they can be tough to deal with.
yeah.
yeah, 100%.
And then after the NBA, I think you spent some time in Japan. So how was that experience different to both culturally and on the court, the basketball?
It was I don't know, something I didn't know I needed and I really needed at the time. Just like that was the first time I've ever been fired or told you're not really good enough on the basketball court. Like at the time you're going through an all-time high of like I went from like we won the championship, I won a finals MVP, I go over to New Zealand, I won the MVP of that league, I come back to Australia, I won the MVP of this league and we win a championship. So I'm just mentally on an all-time high. And then within 6 months you're achieving your dreams and then it's gone, you know what I mean? And then I go over to Japan and I don't know if you know much about the Japanese culture, but these people are the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Like they're just so polite. Like even the fans are they're so wholesome. Like that was my other gift I was going to bring. I had this book here, they gave me, this fam gave me one time. It's at first I thought it was really odd because I don't really know what to do with it. It was just like this like coffee book of myself, but like
Oh,
400 pages of just
oh
me,
my
Damn.
me.
gosh.
And then I'm like, I don't even know what to like. I can't keep this in my own house. That's weird. And then I was just like, the other day I just found it. And I was just looking back, and it was kind of cool to think about the memories over there because you play so many games and things happen so fast. You kind of forget about the small things, and it was cool to reflect on that. But at the time, it was such a odd gift. But that kind of like the fans were just like they were so wholesome, like they were so lovely. They would cheer for both teams. Like there's no
Hmm.
hate on like sometimes the professional world, like the pressure of bad performances or social media these days and hate online or even just media, things like that. Over there, you had no worries in the world. Like the people were just so polite and respectful and like they respect the effort more than the performances sometimes. But And even over there, we play like a 70 game season. So we're playing like every weekend's a double header, Saturday, Sunday, every weekend. And then we're also playing in another league on Wednesdays. So we're not even really practicing. We were just playing games and just hooping and just like
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. I've got a daughter, so I really miss my daughter at the time because she was here with her mother. But like that was the biggest thing, probably why it's tough to stay over there. Why I came back to Australia was for her. But I love my time over in Japan.
Yeah, I can definitely agree to that. Like I played in Japan on a tour just for like I was there for like 11 days and I'm like this is home. Like this country is
It's
amazing.
crazy, right?
Like it's so good and yeah, what you said like the people are so nice. Like random story, but I was just in the restaurant like ordering food and the menu like it's all in Japanese. So I'm like I don't know how to read it and then we had like we figured out that we could use like the translate app. You could take photos and it would translate. But my phone is like retarded and it wouldn't work for some reason. Like I would try and translate it and it's just translating Japanese to Japanese and I'm like I need English. And all my friends went and sat down after they ordered their food, and I'm just standing there like, I need help. And like, I'm vegetarian as well. So it's like really hard for me because I
Oh,
don't want to
that's
pick
so tough as
yeah,
well.
I can't
Wow.
just pick a random thing and eat
Yeah.
it and try
Yeah.
it because like it will probably have meat in it. And
Oh,
then,
fish or something.
yeah, exactly. And this random Japanese lady got up, like, saw me struggling and helped me. And I'm like, I just felt like so grateful to her. I'm like, wow, this country is like
She just came over and read out the menu to you.
yeah, she asked like what am I trying to order and I told her I'm
Oh, how
vegetarian and
lovely.
she's like, "Oh, these are the vegetarian menus here." And yeah, she was like really helpful and she's like, "Oh, and when it comes, it'll come there." Like she like full gave me explanation and everything. And like her English wasn't amazing or anything, but like she still tried to help me and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing."
Awesome. Like, there's such a great culture over there, and like they're great people.
Yeah, and the basketball as well. Like I remember I was watching a game the other day, I think like FIBA or something like that. They were cheering the whole game, even though they're down like 30, 40 points. Doesn't matter. They're still cheering. I'm like, that's amazing.
Oh,
Like,
it's absolute love over there. Like everywhere you go, they see they bring gifts. They bring like they're just the most lovely people, and they're like they don't even really know basketball like that. Like I remember playing in one of the finals one time, and at halftime it said like rules of basketball on the screen. And I'm like, what? These people
oh,
here, they don't even like know the game, but like that's cool. I'm rocking with it.
yeah, yeah. I remember the gifts too. Yeah, like every team we played gave us a gift, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so nice. Like it was just
Yeah,
crazy.
it's really
And
cool.
It definitely would be good, especially after the NBA. You know, you got the hecklers, like you said, social media to then go into such a respectful kind of environment. It definitely would have been a nice change.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But then I know you talked about your daughter, how you kind of want, that's the reason you want to return to Sydney and stuff. But now that you're back with the Kings now in current time, how does it feel returning, being a more highly decorated player, kind of than when you first came to NBL as trying to prove yourself?
I mean, I don't know. There we go again. What's the daisies? I don't I don't really think of it like that. I'm just grateful to be back here, and Sydney is my basketball home. I've been here. Like even the best thing is coming back and seeing these fans that's been here for years, or even the staff members, the physio they have a great relationship with. Like you spend so much time with these teams, you build such strong connections and such strong bond. That's the coolest part about coming home. Like yeah, you come in, you're right. You come here. When I first came here, I was a nervous, scared, 20-year-old, and now I'm a 30-year-old man. I come back, but like, it's still home for me. I love it here.
It's good to hear. And after winning basically everything in the NBL you can, how do you stay locked in and motivated and kind of not like get like a daisical?
Probably because I'm a sore loser and I hate losing. Um, yeah, I think that's the main. I think just your competitive spirit is the main thing. Even practice, you don't want to lose drills. You have trash talk at practice, which kind of gets you going every day. And from there, you go into the games and you just want to prove yourself every game. And especially in this, you have a bad performance or multiple bad performance and people are on your ass these days. So like, it's just like, give them something positive to talk about. You know what I mean? Prove yourself each and every game that why I am who I think I am sometimes. You know what I mean? Or like that I put in all this work and it's something to show for it.
And was that something that you had to learn, that you had to teach yourself to have that kind of mentality, or do you think that was just something that you've always had, like growing up? It was just who you are.
I think it's something you kind of grow and develop and train like a skill. At first, I mean, you always want to win. You always, even as a young kid, you're always super competitive, but sometimes you don't really know how to channel that competitive fire and or how to be assertive in a positive way. You know, you see some kids and I mean, even some teams, like when the time gets tough, a lot of guys just like break out of the offense and just try to take it on one and solve the problem themselves. And you know what I mean? Because it comes from a good heart, like they're competitive fight. I mean, even when you watch guys like Russell Westbrook, he's a one man army. Like he's just so competitive and such a competitive spirit. He wants to solve that problem. And sometimes that can be a positive thing, but sometimes it can be negative. So you got to try to really channel that and you channel your emotions. And I mean, early in my career, I was really prone to tech fouls. I had a bad temper with the refs, and then like even it's such a detriment to the team. And I go on the court, players hate that, coaches hate that. You're giving up 3 points. You know what I mean? Like it's childish. Like you got to kind of grow out of that. But it's one of these things that competitive fire. You got to try to use it to your advantage and not let it get the best of you.
Yeah, I definitely feel that as a Warriors player. I mean, Warriors fan, we got Draymond on the team. So, you love the fire sometimes the defense he gives, but at the same time, like you said, the techs and stuff like that, you kind of
Yeah,
wish you could channel it back. But at the end of the day, that's the energy you're going to get.
yeah, it's a thin line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But kind of looking back in your journey from Wollongong through AIS, everything you've been, kind of, what's your proudest moment you can say of your whole career? I know it's probably a hard question to answer, having experienced a lot, but
I'll probably say three things. One was the winning championships in Sydney and bringing that joy to Sydney. I think it had been 17 years between championships and seeing fans and literally people crying in the crowd and just being like, I was here 17 years ago when you guys won and I'm here again. And it was like, that was just a really cool thing to bring basketball back to Sydney and have a part of the growth of basketball in Sydney. Um, Two would be making the Boomers. That's one team I've always looked up to and idolized. And growing up, I was such a big fan of, these Delis, these Paddies, these Joe Ingles, Bogut, Bainesy, these kind of guys. And to be able to, I made my first team and to be able to call those guys my teammates, and it was just the coolest experience in the world. And just, you go from a fan to a teammate and you have your arms around each other and it's a brotherhood with these guys you looked up to was such a cool thing. And then I think also making it to the NBA. I think that's always every kid's dream, and to get there and to be able to taste that, it'd be something that you work so hard for, and kind of something that no one ever thought I would have done in terms of, like I said, I was a under recruited Australian. I had low offers for college. Even in college, I went to a mid major school. I mean, I was started off in Germany. Like the odds of me going to the NBA was so slim, and to be able to even tick that box was just a really cool accomplishment. That's probably my on the court achievements.
it's great to hear. Obviously, accomplished a lot. And for other young Aussies that might have dreams of kind of following the same path as you, is there any advice you could give them?
I mean, just to whatever like your passion is, just to pursue it to the fullest. Like even if it's not, it's like it's a marathon, not a sprint. I look at my career path. Like I started off rocky, and it's been rocky for a while, and then for a while it just overnight it can change through all the hard work. And it's kind of like we kind of use that analogy of like breaking that, I forget how they say it, but breaking that big rock, you got to just chip away at it for over these years and years and years, and eventually it's going to crack. And it's one of those things that you don't know it's ever going to crack. And it's one of those things people say, it's if someone tells you you got to sprint but you don't know the final destination, like how far are you willing to go, kind of thing. And if you're willing to kind of test that limit and see how far you can go, you can achieve really cool things.
Love that answer. um Thinking about like how you went from so many different teams and like cultures and countries and stuff, what do you think was like the hardest shift, like college to pro, or going like Japan back to here, or here to America? Like which one was the hardest, do you think, and why?
I mean, definitely the early days, like either college or Germany, just because you don't know how much your parents
Mm,
do for you and how grateful and how lucky you have it at home until you're out of home and you got to do your laundry every day. You got to cook every day whilst, working. It feels like you're working a 9 to 5. It felt like while you're over there. So that was a really adjustment. And then Germany, like I said, the professional world, or even maybe a little bit going to the NBA, I really struggled with like the adjustment of it's a every team always uses like that family thing. It's always about a family, family, family. The NBA is not a family. They tell you day one, this is a business. You know what I mean? Like we don't use family
yeah.
because like they'll cut you and send you overseas overnight if you're not performing well, and they'll tell you that to your face, and they're brutally honest. And you'd rather than be brutally honest than tell you like, oh, we love you and we're going to do this, and
Yeah.
they're going to just wave you. So they're all probably the biggest three adjustments.
Yeah. Love that. Oh,
Mm.
not love that, but
Well, thanks.
And kind of touching back onto the NBA was, I know with a lot of rookies and newer players, they have the welcome to NBA moment. Did you ever experience a welcome to NBA moment, maybe with your teammates in practice even or in game? I know you talked about Giannis before.
um, Probably at practice, just going trying to go against Daniel. Like I knew Daniel Gafford was athletic. The way I keep saying he's so athletic is because he dunked on me like so many times, so bad, and it's like I have to mention how athletic he is every time I bring him up for that reason. Like he was just, I think, just against him at practice, realized it's like, man, I'm not shit in this jumping stuff. Like I'm pretty average. Like that was probably my biggest moment, or even just if you're late at practice at Sydney King or something like that, you might get $100 fine. I think over there it was like 1,000 a minute. So like that's
Damn.
I couldn't.
what?
So I was about 30 minutes early every day.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm.
I did not know that.
That is crazy.
And, sorry.
Now you can go.
I was gonna say it's like interesting or not interesting here, but I guess it happens a lot like with Australians or voice crack with Australians or even like I don't know other countries, but yeah, going over to America and then like you're the athletic guy over here, and then you go over there and everyone's athletic and they're more athletic than you, and it's like just a big change, I imagine.
I mean, even talking to Jack McVeigh the other day, Jack was just came back. He had a two-way with Houston, and he was saying like he's always never been the most physically gifted when it comes to athleticism. I mean, he tries hard on defense. He works his tail off, and he's solid. But he was telling me a story about his first day going against like Jalen Green or someone like that, and he just said like I had no chance in the world. Like that guy is so fast, so athletic, and like a lot of people really like that's probably the biggest adjustment coming from this league to over there.
Yeah, it's crazy to hear.
And then with basketball, obviously, it's always evolving, always now. So, kind of, what's your thoughts on? I know you said your biggest strength was one of your biggest strengths was versatility. What's your take on kind of the positionless basketball and how every player is kind of expected to do everything on the court nowadays compared to back then when if you're a post, you're a post really, you're not meant to shoot and stuff like that.
No, I personally love it because like that's the way I play and that's the way I grew up playing. That's why I love players like Nicholas Batum and guys that were so versatile that could do everything. But I mean, my dad absolutely hates it. He likes the old banging in the post kind of offense. But it's crazy though when you think about like the progression of how far it's come. When you look at guys like Wemby, like what the heck is that? That dude
Yeah.
is unbelievable at basketball. His skill set for that size and like for someone to be, yeah, that's how far. I mean, even like Paul Zingis is another one. I mean, even Embiid these days, he's kind of changed his game from being a absolute bruiser down low. Now he shoots a lot of mid range off the dribble. Like the game has really changed.
Yeah, especially great with Wemby because I know you mentioned it before. Some people might just be there for a paycheck or, they made it, so they made it. Wemby, but he has that mentality. Like, you can tell if everything goes right, he's going to be one of the greats. Like, every day he's coming to train. The guy I'm seeing on Twitter, he's training with the monks and stuff. Like, what's going on? Like, this
Man,
guy's crazy, man.
I would be scared to play Wemby this year after coming back from the months. Like,
Yeah,
nah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Do you have any more serious questions? I got a bunch of fun questions.
Yeah, got some fun ones. You want to
I'll
do yours as
start.
well?
All right. Do you have a pre-game routine, and would you like to share it with us, or you just?
I mean,
as well?
probably the same as most hoopers. We'll go to shoot around, come back, and it's essential I get my game day nap in. Like I just like if I don't have my nap, it's ruined. That's why I like sometimes the early games are rough, but
Yeah.
just to reset and to have that routine, and from there you wake up and jump in the shower, freshen up, have your basketball playlist that you got going when you walk into the arena, get your pre-workout going to get the body going, and just yeah, kind of sit there and kind of visualize. If you're nervous, I'd kind of sit there and try to visualize or think about positive plays or kind of like what my advantages is on the matchup and how I can attack them and how I can have an impact on the game. Instead of just sitting there trying to avoid nerves, I try to think about positive things and change my mindset that way.
I like that. Read like a book about the power of habit, and like one of the chapters was talking about Michael Phelps and swimming, and his coach would get him to visualize like winning and like doing the swim like perfect and having everything go right, and that apparently really helped him like then go crazy when he was actually swimming. So I like the visualizing thing. I think that's a really
For
important thing.
sure.
And then seeing as you've played for so many teams, so many countries, who's like your favorite teammate that you've had in any team?
That is a good question. I've had so many great teammates along the way. That's kind of hard to single out. Like even now, I've got Brucey, who I absolutely love. I had Geordie Hunter, but I had a guy, Tommy Vodonovic. Shout out to Tommy. He's back in New Zealand right now. We just had such an unbelievable connection just because he was kind of like the backup force at practice. We would absolutely go at each other every day. And like we had such a cool relationship in terms of we could damn near fight at practice. The moment practice was over, we'd get to the locker room and just laugh about it and maybe just like go get coffee or something after practice. And like we had such a good combination of competitiveness and relationship behind it. Like it was cool.
Yeah, I feel like especially when you play the same position, it's always that thin line because ultimately you're kind of competing for the same spot, but at the
Hmm.
same time you're a team. You know, you're both playing for the better of the team. So it's definitely interesting to hear how, like you said, you guys are war at training, and then after, best of mates.
That's what the kind of what the good teams have. You want to have that competitive fire at practice because iron sharpens iron. Like you need to have that kind of battles at practice to really help you get ready for the games. Because if you're going out there in the game and you're playing these teams, Southeast, Tassie, that are up and in, that are real physical, that initial shock of the first 5 minutes of the game will get you down by 10 points if you're not used to it.
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes I mean, basketball is about momentum, but sometimes it's hard to get that momentum back and catch up. So,
Exactly.
yeah. All right. Speaking of teammates, who do you think is the funniest teammate you've ever had?
Um, Geordie Hunter is a very funny character. He's a very funny character. At first, you think he's a bit odd, but he's the funniest, nicest dude. Like he's the best. He's probably got to be up there for the funniest guys I know and been teammate with.
Okay, okay. I like that. I'm a bit odd, but I think I'm a bit funny as well. So, go your turn. Or you don't have any more.
I don't really have any more. I'm saving the one
Oh,
I asked for the end.
oh, okay. Well, I was thinking um, like you've played in NBA, you're in NBL, like you're pro. Do you still have like someone you look up to, like that you might play with, play against, or like maybe they've retired or something like that? Or is it like you're past that point?
I mean, nah. I mean, like, I still watch the NBA. I think it's some of those guys are absolutely incredible. Growing up, I was a big LeBron fan. So even watching what he's been able to do at his age is truly incredible. And then for when KD came into the league, I think every skinny hooper loved KD. So I think
Yeah.
I'm still a big fan of Kevin Durant. Even I remember we played Team USA in Vegas one year for the pre-Olympic Games, and I was the reserve for the team, so I played. And one of the boys had to go out for a quick injury, and I had to get in there. And I remember just even I walked past Kevin Durant, I smacked him on his hip when I walked past, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Like that's Kevin Durant, man. It was a really cool thing.
Oh, I love that. I really love that. Um, uh, speaking of, NBA players, do you have any cool behind the scenes, like NBA stories you could tell us, you could share with us?
I mean, I don't even. I, I don't know. I probably do. I mean, the whole thing was such a really cool experience. I could probably tell you one time I was probably the most uncomfortable I've been in my whole life. One time we had, I don't know why, they partnered with this fashion show. We had to do like a little runway show. And I am not that kind of dude. Like, I'm not a fashion kind of dude. I don't want all that attention or cameras and all that. And having to walk down this little runway in this little outfit, it was not my cup of tea, I tell you that much. But we had dudes like Kuzma and Jordan
Yeah.
Poole. These kind of guys are so bloody fresh. Like, they
Yeah.
you know who put that on? I'm pretty sure Kuzma asked for that promo.
Yeah. As soon as you said their names, I'm like, oh, okay. First you said fashion show. I was like, what? And then you said those
Yeah.
names. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah. I see the vision.
Hmm.
Let's see. Tyler already asked that. Well, what's is yours the GOAT one? Because I got
Yeah.
the starting five question.
Oh, so you're stealing my questions. Okay.
Yeah,
Just
I'm stealing your question.
just have a question I've been asking most of the guests, trying to see. I know you mentioned LeBron, but kind of who's your GOAT or like your personal favorite player of all time?
I mean, my personal favorite is Kevin Durant, but he's not the GOAT. The GOAT is
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's the GOAT.
Okay.
Even when you're taking into account for like cultural influence, like how much he grew the sport. Even when you watch the Team USA, whatever it's called, the Last
Last
Dance
Dance,
doco,
yeah.
like even watching that effect that he had that Michael Jackson aura. Like he was something different. And then on the court, he had people scared to play him. You hear all these stories about Black Jesus and all these things. Like, dude was truly incredible to have some of the best players in the world talking about someone they're competing against like that. You know what I mean? Like to be that great of a basketball player is incredible. I mean, there's no shame to LeBron. LeBron James, in terms of an all-round player, is probably better just because of the game, the way the game's played now, and how, like you said, the game's so positionless, and LeBron can truly do everything, and he reads the game so well. He can shoot the ball now. He's like a physical, absolute specimen. Like, they're both unbelievably great, but MJ's my go.
Yes, great answer. Is some people when we ask them that question, they be like, "Oh, LeBron, da, 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 da," and then it always ends with MJ. I like how straight away you were just like, "MJ's the GOAT." Like,
Yeah, I had to let him know.
that's
Had to
it.
let him know, man.
Yeah.
We agree. We definitely agree.
Yeah.
Was that okay? My turn again. All right. So we introduced this question like last week, but I don't know how to word it properly. But the starting five question, you were
Yeah, like
your
obviously you mentioned MJ, you mentioned LeBron, you said KD's your favorite player. So if you were to make a starting five, who would be your starting five? And you could put yourself in there if you want.
Heck no. um, Man, I'm gonna go at center. I'm gonna go the most dominant player of all time and get Shaquille O'Neal. I think he was just unbelievable. Um, I'm probably gonna go positionless and go KD and LeBron at like the 4-3 combination. I'm probably gonna go AI and Kobe.
Okay.
Ooh,
I
Yeah.
that's a
loved
tough
AI. I
team.
would honorable mention. I would have gave T Mac. I used to love T Mac too. Guys like that, but that's probably my all-time five.
It's definitely a good one. You got everything covered. You got obviously, like you said, a dominant force inside, rim protector, beast, Shaquille. You got the scorers of Kobe in that, and you also got some playmakers. So hey, it's a
Yeah.
good five. You can't really argue with it.
I like that. I kind of like how you didn't put yourself in there, like just as a. I don't know. I feel like most people would be like, "Oh, I'm putting myself in there." But I like you honest. You're like, "Nah, I'm not putting myself in there."
That's the greatest
Can be
five
the
players of
coach.
all time. Nah,
Yeah.
I love myself, but not that much.
What's one bit of advice you'd give 16-year-old you, or
Oof,
one thing that you'd tell him?
probably just like you're better than you probably think you are at this time, and to chase the dream and don't. I think, like I said, you had a lot of self doubt at that age, and no Oz teams, all that kind of stuff, and you go down to the Boomers in a couple of years. I mean, the AIS in a couple of years, and you're a deer in the headlights, and you have all this self doubt, and sometimes it can slow you down and slow down your progress because you're just trying to get over that mental hump. If you just take out that and have that self belief, I just feel like you could go so much further and you could, push those limits even further.
Oh, I really like that. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. Let me see. Asked all of those. Beautiful. All right, I have two fan questions, or three, but I feel like you already answered that one, but I guess I'll ask it anyway. So, how does it feel to be playing in one of the top leagues in the world?
I mean, it's a huge honor. I mean, even when you sit back and you think about your journey, and I started off on the other side as a fan, as a kid growing up, and absolutely idolizing the NBL. And at the time, they had like Matt Saville and Glenn Saville and Matt Campbell and Wollongong and these old legends of the game. And to be able to cross that bridge and to come onto the other side is something you kind of don't take for granted. Some days, just like every, I guess you would say, job, it's got its dark days and you hate coming in, you're sore, your body hurts, and you get to a game, you're like, huh. Like, here we go again. But then you see these fans and all these things that you work for and how grateful you are and how, lucky you are to have it. And, how much you wanted it as a kid kind of cheers you up
Mm.
and you snap out of it quickly.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine that. Yeah, just seeing like people looking up to you and that how that could like make you be motivated again. Um, fave memories as a boomer.
Favorite memories as a boomer. I mean, my favorite moment was probably when I first got my Akubra presented to me in my jersey, just because of like the first year I had made the team and then I had pulled out because of my knee injury, and that was heartbreaking. Like from being on an all-time high of making the Boomers to my first ever injury after having surgery and all your dreams are done. You know what I mean? This was heartbreaking. And then I go to my next Boomers program because they only happen every 2 years. Is it? You got to wait 4 years for an Olympics, 4 years for a World Cup, so you only get a chance every 2 years. So
Yeah.
then my next chance, I went over there and I was a reserve for the team, and all the other reserve left. Giddy was one of the reserves. Brock and Modem, they both left. Giddy went to get ready for the draft. Bro, Modem went back to Europe. But I decided to stick around and train with the team just to help them out because of extra bodies. And I ended up training pretty well. And that kind of helps you moving forward and getting a foot in your door and, showing what kind of person you are. But then I remember coming to that Jersey night, that presentation night, and watching all the newcomers do their show and tell, and I'll help them out, like get ready for their act. And then end of the night, they're all their dreams are coming true, and they get their jerseys, and I'm sitting in the back corner just clapping along, and it fell short again, and it sucks because you got to wait another 2 to 4 years for another chance to then happen. Your chance again, you come, you're hungry, you're ready for it, and to actually finally cross that bridge and to stay healthy and to get that hat. That's why that hat means so much to me, just
Mm.
because you only get that many chances to it. Like you miss out on one, you got to wait 2 years, and this is you're aging. I'm 30 years old. The next Olympics I'm gonna be 32, and after that, it's wraps. You know what I mean? Like it's tough.
Yeah. Did you cry when
Um, I cried the first time when I first made the team, and when I got injured, I cried again. And then when I made this one, I probably didn't cry. I was just smiling from ear to ear.
yeah.
I was going on stage getting ready to rap about people, so I wasn't about to
Yeah.
start crying in front of
True.
everybody.
I forgot
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
I was getting ready to roast everybody, so I was kind of more scared how Paddy's going to react.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a different story if you were rapping while crying. That I don't
Oh
know how
man,
that would go.
that would be sorry as heck. Heck no.
Oh man. And what was well, yeah, I feel like you already answered this question, but just in case, I'm gonna ask it. What was the championship like with Sydney Kings or winning it in Sydney?
It was cool. I mean, you always kind of chase this thing called the championship and the end goal for years, and you never really know what it is. You know what I mean? Until you get there. And then when you get there, it looks like a cool thing, but until you experience it, there's no words that can sum up that feeling you get in your body when you finally like accomplish a dream and all the work you put in for all years, this dream that everyone's pursuing, all 10 guys on the team are focused on, and you finally achieve it. And then you're like, you win the game, and then you're like, now what? You know what I mean? Like we did it. Like it was a really cool feeling. And like I said, first one in 17 years, we had a really great group of guys, a really close group of guys, and a really close coach, and it was just a really cool experience.
Yeah. Like I said before, I can't even imagine it. Like when you were speaking about like there's no words and like the feeling, like I don't know, I started getting this feeling like imagining it, and it's just wow,
Oh,
like what
even watching the Broncos
crazy.
win the other day, I just had goosebumps watching them. You know, the confetti falling, and I just like it just brings you flashbacks, and it's just a cool thing.
Yeah, were you going for Broncos?
I was going for Broncos, yeah.
Why is everyone going for Broncos? Why does everyone hate Melbourne? I don't know. I don't watch footy anymore.
Oh
It's just the way
no!
it is.
Did you watch the game though?
I like my brother and my other brother were watching it, and I walked in the lounge room because they were shouting so much, and then
Hell of a
and he
game.
asked me for $100 so he could bet.
Listen, investment, man. Reese Walsh. I'd Reese Walsh for the medal, and it's a good investment.
Hey,
Come
smart
on.
man, smart
Is it?
man.
Come on.
Did you give the $100
I got
back
my
though?
money
That's the real
back.
question. I was about to say, did you give the money back?
Of
He,
course, of
he, he
course.
gave it back. He gave
Yeah,
it back.
good man.
But yeah, I watched maybe like 2 minutes, and I was like, yeah, I'm done.
That
I don't watch footy anymore.
was a great game.
Yeah, definitely one of the best. I mean, do you have any other questions?
Let's see. I think. Oh, does defense win championships?
Oh, that's yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you can even look at the track records, even for the NBL. Even when we won the championship, I think we might have been number two on defense and number three on offense, and then the next year might have been number one on defense, number three on offense. Like it's always you don't stand a chance unless you're a defensive team. And then like even when you look at teams these days, it comes down to the teams that play defense, and then from there, how good their offensive game is. You know, what I mean, that's the
Mm,
first thing you think about is how good their defense is. I mean, even Oklahoma, they had all those flashy players, but those guys lock up. You know what I mean? They have guys like Lou Dort. He's an absolute weapon on defense. Williams, J Dub, whatever his name is. Even Shea, for having a superstar that tries on defense, goes a long way compared to, I don't want to call out Luca, but when Luca the last couple of years has been BSing on defense. I mean, he's a finals player, I get it, but in the regular season, he is a no-show on that
Yeah.
end.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that Thunder team is definitely like an anomaly. Like their whole team, I think, is like in the odds to win defensive player. It's like it's
It's
pretty
amazing.
crazy.
I mean, even like Chet. Chet is a whatever he is. He's a 6'12", whatever that dude is. He's massive. And he's agile. He protects the rim. He can switch on players. Like to have that for a five man, like they're really tough to go against. And then on offense, they move that ball. They play together. Like, but the main thing is defense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially they're all young, so it's not even like a couple of years they're gonna be good. No, if they stay together, obviously
It's a
money
scary
contracts.
sight. It's
Yeah,
a scary sight.
it's definitely gonna be a rough couple of years. So hey,
Mm.
Wemby's there, but maybe the Spurs can do something. They got some guys too.
What are you talking
And they got
about?
De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, he's a hooper.
Miami's got
Okay.
it. We got it.
Okay.
Sorry, you don't know.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I'm a
So tell,
big Miami fan. Maybe a bit delusional, but no, we got it. Watch,
I respect
you
the
guys
faith.
will see, man. You
I
guys will see.
definitely will not, but I hope so.
See, I'm a Warriors fan. At least I can say we have a chance, you know. But Miami, is different. But
Yeah.
Warriors are just fun to watch, man. Steph is incredible to watch.
yeah, he's one of the greats. Like it's crazy how like usually, you know, when they get 30, 35, they kind of age out, but you still got KD, you still got LeBron, you still got Steph, still all at the top of the games, really. It is crazy to see.
It really is. It's great. I mean, modern science is truly crazy. Like the fact that LeBron is running around at 40. My knees hurt and I'm 30. Like, how the hell is he doing it? Yeah, but it's crazy.
I mean, my knees hurt. I'm in my 20s. Like, it is crazy. And have you seen his feet? Like,
I mean, one thing about basketball players, we've all got some janky toes on it.
Yeah.
So I'll be honest
yeah,
with you.
and fingers. I have like a dislocated finger and a broken finger right now.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, yeah, that is all my questions.
Yeah, well, appreciate you for coming on once again, and thanks for kind of giving us an insight into what it takes to be a pro and ultimately make it.
No worries at all. Thanks for having me. This is good fun.
Of course. And is there anything you want to shout out? I know most of the people watching this, I assume they already know who you are, but if you want to shout out Instagram, Sydney Kings, anything.
I mean, shout out to the Sydney Kings. I'm not shouting out Instagram. I'm chilling on socials. So we're all good.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I like that. Well, yeah, thank you so much for having us.
No, thank you guys. I
Everything.
appreciate it.
Of course.
As always, like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and that's it.
Yeah,
It's been
check
alright.
out the Sydney Kings. Watch a couple of their games. They got hoopers, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, come on down
You
to
guys gonna
Kudos
win?
Bank.
You guys gonna win this year?
Of course, I believe that.
Yes,
But
sir.
we'll see what
yes,
happens.
sir.
It's a tough year this year, but nah, come on down to Kudos Bank. Come check us out one time this year.
Yeah,
Of
100%.
course.
And listen to some good vibes that the DJ
Yep.
is very DJ Ziggy, Director Zig, that's our brother. I don't know.
Oh,
if you know
okay.
that.
Well, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's dope.
so that's why I'm shouting out my brother too.
Oh, yeah. Keep bringing the vibes, baby. Keep bringing them.
Of course.
100%.
Well, anyways, take care. See ya.
All right, guys. See you guys.